Thank you, my thanks, Minister Saar, Mr. Tsakna. Please, Saar, thank you, dear friend. I am very grateful for the warm welcome you have given me here in Jerusalem. This is not the first time I have been here. I have visited Jerusalem before, if I remember correctly, in 2016 when I was Minister of Social Affairs. These are different times, and we had very good debates and conversations during our meetings, including today's meeting. But the people of Estonia and Israel are very similar in our way of thinking. We are small, I can say, maybe in numbers, but not in the spirit of freedom, and that is very important. But also, maybe it's a little known fact that Estonia was the first country in the world that, exactly 100 years ago, declared cultural autonomy for the Jewish people. And it was the first country in the world. We are known for the fact that your people in Estonia are well received, they are part of our societies, and they are safe. Besides that, we copy from you, and we are learning a lot from you about concepts of total defense. That every member of our society knows their responsibilities and has the willingness to come together to defend our freedom. Because unfortunately, we have a very bad neighbor. It's Russia. Yes, Russia. We have been here for about 10,000 years, and we plan to stay for another 10,000 years. But we have many things to cooperate on and also to learn from each other, and maybe one more story about it. After we regained our independence in 1991, most Estonians really trust Israel. It's that we gained our independence in 1991. But Russian troops remained in Estonia until 1994, and no one really sold weapons to the Estonians. And the Israeli government was the first and only one that really trusted our newly reborn government. At the same time that Russian troops were stationed on our territory, there was no talk of joining NATO, the EU, or anything like that. And you sold us Galils and some Uzis, but it wasn't just about weapons, it was about trust. The Galils are better, yes, but the fact is that everyone in Estonia still remembers that. Maybe you don't know it publicly, but this is important. But the security of Israel and long-term stability in the region are important to Estonia, and my solidarity with Israel during an active conflict reinforces this commitment. And I assure you this will continue. Estonia understands the direct security threats posed by the Iranian regime to Israel and other countries in the region. Iran's nuclear and missile programs, its support for terrorist organizations, and its cooperation with Russia in its war of aggression against Ukraine represent serious threats to regional and global security. Estonia supports the efforts of Israel and the United States to ensure that Iran cannot pose such a threat. For years, we have closely monitored the growing cooperation between Iran and Russia, including reports of military coordination and intelligence sharing. And we can also say that Iran and Russia are two different sides of the same evil coin. This shows once again how interconnected security challenges in Europe and the Middle East have become, while much of the world's attention has recently focused on events in this region. Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine continues. Russia continues to attack civilians and civilian infrastructure and remains committed to its goal of destroying Ukraine and reshaping the European security architecture. Estonia condemns Iran's attacks against its neighbors who were not involved in the war, including attacks on civilian targets, and expresses solidarity with those affected. All states have the right to defend themselves according to international law, while efforts to prevent further escalation remain essential. But at the same time, Ukraine has demonstrated its solidarity with the countries of this region that are facing threats. Not only in words, but also through its willingness to contribute practical support to defense efforts. Therefore, Ukraine is not only the country that needs our support at this moment, but is also providing capabilities to those in need. In this context, I reiterate our encouragement for Israel to expand its direct assistance to Ukraine. We also discussed today with the Minister of Foreign Affairs about Gaza, Lebanon, and developments in the West Bank. And Estonia supports efforts to stabilize Gaza and the disarmament of Hamas, which Estonia recognizes as a terrorist organization. We also discussed developments in the West Bank, including the expansion of settlements and incidents that could further compromise stability. In the end, lasting peace and security require a two-state solution, with Israel and Palestine living side by side in safety. Estonia is ready to strengthen the European Union's dialogue with Israel, the Palestinians, and all those in the region who wish to play a constructive role. And finally, we reaffirm the importance of the partnership between Estonia and Israel. And our cooperation in areas such as innovation, IT, and also in the growing cooperation in defense continues to deepen. And the opening of the Israeli embassy in Tallinn just 4 months ago last November has already strengthened our partnership. So, thank you, Gideon, my friend, once again for this friendship. On behalf of the Estonian people, I say this relationship will last forever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ministers, we have time for a quick question. Yes, please.
Hello, Alexander Cornwall from Reuters. Minister Saar. Israel and the US have carried out extensive attacks against Iran in the past 2 weeks, targeting its leadership, military forces, and internal security. What are Israel's concrete objectives in the coming weeks, after what has already been achieved, or is the campaign moving toward a definitive end to the war? And secondly, your ambassador to the UN said yesterday regarding Lebanon that there were some actors trying to mediate and host talks. I believe the next step is negotiations, but first we must weaken Hezbollah. Could you please clarify what is happening regarding the Lebanese government? And what about Minister Tsakna? You were quoted as saying that Estonia is ready to discuss how it can contribute to the mission in the Strait of Hormuz. What exactly is Tallinn considering? Are they sending vessels? And finally, Europe believes that the time has come for the USA and Israel intends to end the war. Or does Europe support the current effort between Israel and the US to continue the campaign? Thank you.
Yes, we understand perfectly, and Estonia has been very clear about its political support for Israel and the United States on the issue of weakening the regime in Iran, and also seeking to dismantle nuclear deterrence and nuclear programs, as well as military programs, and actively weaken that regime. Therefore, the political support has been very clear, and I can fully assure you of that right now, also. Now we are talking about the current situation in the Strait of Hormuz. So of course this is affecting the global economy. We're not just talking about oil prices, we're talking about fertilizers, we're talking about the global economy and trade, which are actually very interconnected. And President Trump also said that he is waiting for NATO allies to come and give support to definitively solve this problem. And Estonia, which has always been an extremely reliable partner for us, we have been together in various and diverse military missions. If our allies need this in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's not just about us, but also about all our allies. Therefore, we have already proven that we are reliable partners, but of course, for this to continue, we also need your support. We are ready to discuss what kind of support the US needs, what the real objectives are, and also within the framework of NATO. However, up to the moment I am answering this question, there has not yet been a request or a proposal from the US. So, first of all, it's necessary to clearly understand the real needs of the US. If they need anything else, I can only speak for Estonia. The fact is that we assume our responsibilities. In Northern Europe, where we share a border with Russia, which is waging a war in Ukraine and poses a direct threat to Europe, we are responsible for this region. We are a small nation, but we have certain specific capabilities. We will be ready if there is a need for support for us or for the free world as a coalition. Let's see what happens, but Estonia is always ready to support our allies. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. This is over now. The press conference is finished. Thank you. Thank you.
See you soon, somewhere.
Thank you very much.